Welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-casters, that is plural, TFH and lovely Control Flirt Delete. How are we doing today?
I'm pretty good, Knight. How are you?
Yep, pretty good over here too.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Excited for today's matchup, 5 Horsemen versus the Water. Interesting matchup that we're getting right now in this season. You look at the team ranks, and you actually see Water at 7th and Horsemen at 19th. What are your thoughts on this matchup today?
Math hard. That's what I have to say about it. Clearly, the equation has gone to the extremes here.
Yeah.
And pitched a 19th ranked team against a 7th, but the 5 Horsemen are a very good team, so I'm still predicting a pretty good matchup out of this.
Yeah, I agree because the Horsemen, I mean, they are a good team. You have veterans on that team. You have Traden who runs the rookie boot camp, so it's it can actually go either way, in my opinion.
Yeah, Water. If you look at both squads, they both have new and old veterans on their team. Horsemen with a bit more experienced squad, and Water new this season. But Water's the higher ranked team right now. They're actually up into the Diamond tier. They've broken through the top 10 in the roster. I mean, in VRML World Rankings. This Water team, we've only got 3 casts on them, and I wanted to stop in today because are they just going to keep dominating and keep pushing up the ladder? Like, what's going on with this new squad in the league?
Well, they do communicate a lot and this is from experience playing with them. They communicate an incredible amount to the point where they're giving away their own positions, but that seems to work with them because they're able to kind of work with their flanks and their rotations in a way that make them dominate the battlefield.
Yeah, I did get to cast their other game. I think it was against Fury. I'm not sure, but as you'll see through the game, Kija, their captain, constantly giving out direction on where to go. And they do wait, they hold their positions until everyone's ready to go. So there's some great coordination coming out of Water.
We started to see that trickle down into a lot of the league this season, in my opinion. And I'd love to dive in more and analyze how both these squads are going to approach the matchup, but we don't even need to do that. Both teams are in lobby ready to go. So let's hop into our picked bands. Todd, what do we got coming in from the 5 Horsemen?
Well, from the 5 Horsemen, we have Tanker, and from Water side, we have Downfall.
Kind of polar opposite bands coming in from both teams there.
Yeah, we got one map that's extremely long range, one that's extremely close range, probably one of the smallest maps in the in the selection process. So we kind of have, we're kind of seeing both teams kind of have different objectives here. Water wants to keep it close, but 5 Horsemen want to keep it long. And I think their roster really justifies keeping it long, especially with those veteran players.
I think it absolutely makes sense because Horsemen know Kija is not to be, downplayed on his amazing shield work, so that makes sense. And Horsemen are kind of scary on Downfall because they're so sneaky. They do those sneaky little caps. They do well on that. So this is smart for both teams to be doing this.
Yeah, and our first map pick, in line with how the Horsemen are going to want to play this matchup, at least so it seems, is going to be No Peak, one we don't get to see terribly often in the league, as it's only been playable really till into season now 9. But this is definitely a bit of a longer range map. I suppose it depends on where the objective is, though, because it does get pretty tight quarters, and that's where our first objective is going to be headed to.
Yeah, this tunnel lends itself to shield play. It is a little bit darker than the rest of the map, so you can use that shield laser sight if you're feeling brave enough. We've seen some people kind of flounder on that, mainly global cam, but if you're really good at being able to identify enemies with a green background while wearing that night vision, you are good to go on this map.
Now, Control Flirt, I know you like this map a lot. It is one of your favorites. What's so interesting about it as we hop into round 1?
Well, it's because all of the above that you mentioned. There's tight quarters, there's long range. It's very pretty, in my opinion. I like the uniforms and their cool shoes. But overall, I like it. I like the night variant a lot, and yeah. But all of those things put together make it the better version of Downfall for me.
Interesting. Well, we'll see if the better version of Downfall pays off for the 5 Horsemen squad, since Downfall is going to be banned. They are kicking it off with a close quarters spawn. A 5-man push from the 5 Horsemen. They're sticking their whole squad together.
Yeah, they're gonna. It looks like, well, we have a shield player on the 5 Horsemen. It's going to be Steve, who's their sniper. Interesting to see the kind of the polar opposite of the playstyle coming out here.
Oh, I think he's played Shield before for them, if I recall correctly. So not terribly new.
Well,
He might be a sniper too.
yeah, we'll see if he breaks the sniper out when we get into a longer range objective. Probably not exactly something you want with this tunnel objective anyway.
Yeah, teams are already right around this corner here, up in the nose of water. But all water I see around here is frozen, as it is Snow Peak. Will that remain the same for water here? A C4 call out goes out. Ooh, it is a very cheeky spot for a C4.
That smoke landed exactly where they were hoping for. Kind of catches itself up on a rail. Steve's going to have to walk this one forward. And yeah, you see Aiden just sitting there with that C4 waiting. And it doesn't catch anybody because he detonated just a bit too early. It would have caught Steve most likely. But I think Steve was still around the corner. And now he comes out of the smoke with shield. Aiden has to drop back. We have the suppressive overfire from the back corner. Ooh, Bikini able to spot one, and he gets instantly refragged. A nice pickup there from Traden to answer back.
Yeah, being able to use that snow mound, and I can't even speak today, renders a lot of visibility available.
Little trade here between Sean and the Lich King. As smokes are deployed on objective, Steve with the shield drawing attention on the inside. It's forcing a bit of a split focus here from Water as they try and deal with this center push, and Sean finds a pick.
Comes out from Kija.
With a hard push off the flash, not able to do enough onto Steve. Steve able to pick him up as soon as that flash dies down. Dr. Sean getting dangerously close to objective. He gets picked up by Aiden. A nice key trade there, and if Steve rotates in time, he should be able to catch Will here, getting this res. Does pick up Aiden. Steve's still here with shield. Aiden's going to challenge this. He's going to have to hard press, and he finds the legs of Steve. Now the Horsemen down to their last surviving member, Enigma, with that long-range scope that was holding the back end. Now all alone in a 1v2. Shots ringing out. They don't land. Water secures round one.
A little bit of celebration going on there at the end from Will. And I think that the Horsemen had a really good chance there of making it onto objective and putting a really good push on the Water there. Just it kind of teetered off a little bit there at the end as the shield went down.
Might I just say, I am so flattered because that is the play we did on the Horsemen. When we did that same push, I think they did it a little different halfway through, but yeah, I mean I saw what they did there. They have the 2 shields, which is great. They spotted the C4. I think that they just needed to go just a hair faster, but their positioning was good. Enigma watching for the flank and bringing 2 shields. The smokes were greatly placed. They just got outplayed by Water on that one.
And the C4 placement there was really good as well. Being able to kind of block off the tunnel with, a theoretical threat is such a huge momentum killer for the Horsemen. But the Horsemen actually played it really well. They kind of just waited for the detonation to go off and then progressed their attack.
Yeah, it was a very calm defense sitting there, and they saw the shield and didn't feel the need to try and overpressure. Use the nice flash to deny vision of the overshot from the shield, and a couple of good plays do get Water that round win, but See what happens as we hop into round 2. It does give us a brief moment to take a look at the rosters today for each squad. Coming in from 5 Horsemen, we have Traden, Dr. Sean, Boxtoys, Steve3242, and Enigma. Over on Water, we have Zucchini Gang, Keisha, Aiden Assassin, the Lich King, and Will.
Yes, standard roster for the 5 Horsemen. These are their 5 strong players here.
Mirrored quick spawns too, so Water going to be able to do something pretty right off the bat here. Lich King is set up, and he's going to, if anything, wait for an early aggressive push from 5 Horsemen. So it does look like, if you take a look at your overhead, that Water is sort of just set up waiting to see if Horsemen are going to push out of their spawn building.
Yeah, Lich being able to set up there is just a huge way to be able to cut off any major rotations, any major kind of flanks that could come out of the Horsemen in order to kind of deny movement opportunities for Water. I don't think he's going to be called on until like really late into this game here.
Yeah, I think what's happening is you have the front line waiting for Keisha and Aiden to rotate around to this south side, which they have managed to infiltrate in now, and they're going to slow their pace up a bit as they get closer to the suspected enemy defensive positions. They still have a ways to clear, though. Doesn't look like anyone's watching this entry point, though. Steve is tucked in. Should be safe from any prying eyes, but they really don't have any vision down this back lane that Keisha and Aiden are going to be popping out of.
Yeah, Keisha's kind of walking into a bit more of an awkward situation here as a shield guy. Steve could easily rotate around if he doesn't take care of him at first. If he was going on his original course, that is to say. But now it looks like he's actually going to go more toward the direct route onto Steve, and that would probably be the better route to be as a shield guy.
Yeah, keep your lines of sight. Great. Limit being shot from the sides. Best option as a shield user, and certainly caters to that sort of mentality. Taking a look at the rest of Water, they are still positioned on these sort of tunnel entry points, slowly inching their way in. If anything, we might see around a 2-minute push or something along those lines.
And what Keisha's been doing lately is he's not been going aggressive on the shield per se. He's focusing more on callouts. He's going to try to call out exactly where the enemy squad is hiding and then let the rest of his team take care of those problems one by one until they can get up onto objectives.
I mean, he's doing it the right way. I see some of these shield players just kind of run out there, waiting to find a time to use it, but Keisha carefully used it right as soon as he entered tunnels, which is what you should be doing.
Definitely a strategy being more consistently utilized by the top tier teams in longer range maps, being shields come out on Downfall and Quarantine respectively to help gain that sort of vision. And yeah, it seems to be a new trend where the shield user is starting to shift more in towards just sort of a vision award.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did hear some people say, like, why is there a shield on Downfall? I mean, there's so much you can do with it,
right,
as far as peeking, especially on a large open map that's Downfall.
Ooh, Dr. Sean about to be in a bit of trouble here as he has Will right around the corner on these boxes. I don't think he suspects it. His eyes are drawn super heavily over to Zucchini, who did just pick up one of those defenders. I don't think Will anticipates Sean being here either, though. We'll see as she peeks. Oh my gosh.
He's not exactly on that wall there. This could prove to be an advantage for Will.
I think Sean's looking just over Will, and Will just wasn't spotting him. Does rotate. Catches out Doc. Now they're down to 2. Steve's in a huge position here. He has to deny the shield. Keisha does have eyes on him now, though. Will can rotate around. The nade can come in. That's a fantastic toss. Cap's now an option, but the kill comes in on the opposite end. Zucchini picks up a double. Water grit themselves a 2-0 lead.
I love Will's screams of excitement. Also, I just want to remind you that water does have an advantage here, because they are water in this little tunnel here. They have advantage of any map that has water in it, is what I've heard.
Yeah, and being able to use the shield play on the tunnels here is just such a huge advantage to Water, especially with Kija being just one of the supreme shield players in the league as of right now. He is definitely been on the forefront for many different little strategies that you can come up with and utilize. And he uses it so effectively for his team. He now just does callouts and lets the rest of the team just work the problems as they go.
Yeah, you definitely heard him say that was so clean, which, you know, looked
Right.
like it went according to plan, as they had coordinated it. And it was great. They still had 5 up.
We now go into another bit of a tight quarters objective. I mean, it might start off with a little bit of some long-range shooting, but eventually it's going to come down to pushing inside that square building and entering in from either 3 of the entry points, I believe. There's 2 outside and 1 through the back tunnels. We'll see how Water defend and what 5 Horsemen do as we dive into round number 3 of map 1.
Hey Will, by the way, how's your Oculus doing? Good?
We're going to have the warehouse objective here. Now, just something I've mentioned this before, but keep this in mind. A lot of the cover here is not bulletproof, so nades are extremely effective on this objective.
Bit of a...
I'll just call shit out for you.
This is going to be a pretty fast round here. 5 Horsemen, all 5 charging up along the far north lane. Should be able to get right up onto the outside of objective building in a matter of a few minutes. They are obviously concerned about some early peeks and pokes coming in from the Water team, but...
Yeah, I think they're going to play this a lot slower because Water was just able to kind of... They were able to get him because they were holding really good angles. And those are the angles that the 5 Horsemen now are going to have to worry about as they go on to attack this objective.
Yeah, I think this really plays against what I think 5 Horsemen intended, which was that long range. They
Yeah.
got the 2 tight OBJs, which favor shield play. Not to downplay Steve here. Let's see what he does.
King is peeking the corner. I don't think spots Steve rounding that hill just yet, so might think that this lane is safe. Aiden does have the back to this entry point, but now they're spotted. Lich King with a quick peek around the corner does ID 2 here at least. They have a general idea of where the shield is, and if you know where the shield is, you can kind of shift your attention accordingly, right? Because you know, okay, I can only invest so much into focusing on a shield. There's only so much I can do against it.
Don had such a huge opportunity to be able to take down the shield before as well, because Steve was just looking the exact opposite way of that door, but he's no longer. He's going to try to take some shots through those boxes. And those boxes are penetrable, but he just is not able to land them.
Yeah, Aiden found out the hard way. Did take a shot to the chest. There's another one to the chest too, landing through these boxes. Aiden not having a good experience. Has to use the double syringe, so that's a couple of extra points taken. But coming into use, and Aiden's now going to tuck into this other corner with smoke. Steve should have heard this, although the smoke audio might have drowned it out. Complete.
Very nice pick from Lich.
Yeah, he's got the perfect angle. He can see right through all these smokes. They do have a nice entry come in from Enigma. He catches out one. Will doesn't have eyes trained. Checks pad, realizes everyone's down. Kija doesn't react in time. Shots coming in from Aiden. Finds one. Dr. Sean manages to pick up the refrag. Zucchini rounds the corner, picks up one, and it's down to a 1v1. Enigma and Zucchini.
Zucchini's going to emerge victorious out of that, and Water's going to pick up their 3rd point of the match here. Very
Nice.
spectacular fashion.
With his easy. I love their playful confidence. And that's not easy actually taking out Enigma here because he almost capped on us too. He is, I would say, a very good sneaky player when it comes to caps. So that was luck that he rotated back in time.
Yeah, they were super fortunate to have, I believe it was Lich King tucked in there. That could have gone a lot worse for the Five Horsemen. That could have been map right there with an objective cap, because if Lich wasn't there, the free entry for a couple of extra water teammates, and who knows what's going on underneath all those smokes they laid out. They were certainly effective, just a touch too far.
Well, we're going to have the same objective for the next round here. It'd be very interesting to see how Five Horsemen are going to try to defend here. This is a very hard objective to defend. You got effectively 4 entrances throughout the entirety of this building. And being able to just set up a good defense when you have so little cover, it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how they're gonna respond back. I kind of feel like they could potentially take this 5. To be honest, I think they could probably cap it. They were so close before.
We first time don't get mirrored spawns, so water will have a little something different to work with than the Five Horsemen. We'll see if that plays into their hand. These close quarter objectives, to Vivian's point, are really playing into this Waters team right now. They are absolutely dominating these rounds. Really smooth round wins, and as you highlighted earlier, TFH, in our pre-show, this squad is super good at communicating. You can tell Water definitely all synced up when they make their moves. That entry into the last objective was great. The entry into tunnel was smooth. Kija's doing a great job identifying, but now they lose one early for the first time. Enigma picking up Zucchini.
Yeah, such a great pick. Enigma is holding such a great angle to be able to monitor this kind of approach onto the warehouse objective. Being able to have that kind of information available to the Five Horsemen is such a huge advantage to their side.
Kija doing a good job there of not dying with the shield. Does ID Traden, and Traden, with as soon as he took those shots, realized it was at a shield user and dropped back because he knew this was coming.
Yeah, now the communications coming out of Water. I wasn't able to catch Traden's side of it. I hope that he's communicating the same amount of information as Water is to his team as Water is to theirs. Being able to identify exactly where the shield push is coming from can be so helpful.
Definitely hear the call outs coming from Traden.
All right, that's good to know that that's coming in.
And look at the Five Horsemen defense, just kind of taking a gander over towards objective. It's a completely different setup than the Water defense, which was tucked inside. They're all outside. They're all waiting for these pushes to come down the lanes, and so far it doesn't pay off. Zucchini able to pick up Dr. Sean. Water with the kill lead again.
Yeah, and having that kill lead it's pretty good and all, but we do know that in games that are pretty tight, it can change around. But Five Horsemen got to get their groove on here and now. They are down to match point, and that is just not the way you want to be on map 1.
Yeah, and on your map pick, because then we're certainly going to be going into a close quarters matchup with Water's map choice. And if anything, how this round's going, if this is any indicator, it's not going to go well for Five Horsemen, although Traden does find Zucchini, and we have a little bit of an exchange between Kija and Box.
Yeah, and the fight's going on in the center now, and Nate will go out. I think see that he's going to pull back. It still gets him.
And the C4 on the back end catches out Lich. That's a huge pickup. Although Will should be able to rotate around, snag that res, and they can make their entry onto Box. Smokes are out in objective. The pressure's on for Five Horsemen.
They are momentarily able to bask in the glory of having an extra man up compared to Water. But that's going to be short-lived as the revive is able to come out. Smoke's on objective now. The action is about to begin.
I think the action already happened. We're probably not going to get into a bit of a stall. Water and into this 2v3. Will and Lich do have one real main point of entry. I just wonder if 5 Horsemen are properly set up to watch this, because it does look like Box isn't really focused on it, and Steve's watching the other entryway.
Yeah, looks like that Water's going to try to secure one entryway and focus their attacking through that. Hopefully it'll work for them. They only have 2 members available to them right now. The rotation's going to come out from Enigma, but he's going to pay for that.
Really nice job of Will to be watching that. Box nearly catches the cross, and here we're going to see some cheeky smokes getting placed on the corner of walls. Box with the trade does pick up Lich King. That's a huge denial. Now Steve can rotate around the outside, which it does look like he's keen on doing, but will be ready for it.
Will be ready for it. Well, we're about to find out the answer right here. Will's going to try to make the entrance in here, but it doesn't work. The smokes are still out. There's plenty of opportunity to make the entrance, but the pressure is on Will now.
Steve does finally rotate on the outside, secures that final kill for 5 Horsemen, and they are on the board. It was looking not too hot for this 5 Horsemen squad. But they have weathered the storm, right? We now go to some more longer range objectives. We move out of those tunnels, and the 5 Horsemen could start their comeback now.
Yeah, and I think that they've been a team to practice more on these long-range maps. Steve is such an amazing sniper. It's almost been a sin to see him have to play these short-range objectives. We get to kind of see him blossom, and maybe that's just what the 5 Horsemen need to kind of bring out the best in them and be able to bring it back on map 1.
Yeah, you definitely can't count them out. I mean, they, like we said before, they're a strong team too, and you know, this could be that comeback. I am always fearful of their capping, because I feel 5 Horsemen are a capping team. So this OBJ is so open that they could send Steve sniping perhaps, and get some picks, some distraction, boom, go in there, get that cap, and then we have ourselves a match.
Yeah, we've been seeing that sort of single, I don't know, the lone wolf strategy coming out more and more this season, where teams will try and invest a single player to push through the defensive line or rotate around an odd angle, try and come in and cap, while the rest of the team draws attention. Certainly a viable option here, and an interesting spawn for 5 Horsemen. They're going to have to come through the northeast hill area.
Yeah, a bit more, one of the quicker spawns, if I may say that, but this could work in their favor. They're able to kind of set up quickly, put the pressure on early, maybe force Water into some mistakes that could go in their favor, but I'm pretty sure they'll take anything that can get them a point right now.
Oh, I went to the wrong OBJ. Yes, this one's a hard approach, so I'll be interested to see how they approach this one.
Pretty open rotation from Keisha. Finds 2. A sweet double behind 2. I mean, that was a...
Kill 2.
That was odd.
The 5 Horsemen weren't ready for that at all. I'm just going to blatantly say that. That rotation was not anything near what they were expecting. And it's such a great double to see.
They ID'd Keisha out there in the open early because he was going with such a strong rotation onto that side. And I think just in that process of trying to radio in where Keisha was, he ended up peeking out and finding the 2 kills. That's the, you know, sometimes moving quick and reacting quick is what gets you, you know, kills like that, because if he had taken his time, tucked into cover, it would have allowed the 5 Horsemen to radio in direct locations, maybe nades start coming in, and instead the pressure gets them some kills.
Yeah, now the plays kind of come to a bit of a standstill. 5 Horsemen have lost whatever momentum they had. They're going to rely on Enigma to do callouts now. And that could work, because that's what Water's been effectively doing, but Water's been doing it behind a shield with the callouts.
You hear no sniper. In fact, the LMG. So
I
shifting
am
trends
wrong.
amongst the Horseman
Distraction.
team. Yeah.
The LMG is pretty powerful on this objective. Once again, it's kind of a common theme with Snow Peak. There is very limited cover. All pretty much like I want to say 80% of the cover in this map is penetrable. So if
Mm.
you're able to just kind of put LMG fire down, you're definitely going to be putting some serious suppression on the enemy team.
Yeah, the LMG fire may bite him in the butt here if he does it too out in the open. There's so many different angles that water are covering, and it would certainly he'd have to suppress the entire plane wing basically if he wanted to keep this team under wraps. But that'll change with some picks from Box, who is looking for an angle back here in the north.
Yeah, and Box Toys is coming down a really good angle. You can kind of hide on those hilltops that are in front of him and be able to kind of find some nifty little picks here and there, depending on how mobile the enemy defense is. But Water doesn't seem like they're defending, like they're being that mobile on their defense. They're just holding angles that work for them and that work for what kind of objective they're covering. And with 5 people strong at half of a round to go, that's working pretty well.
Yeah, they are clearly well practiced on this map, as they've shown so far with their 3-1 lead. And now on this objective, they're well aware of different approaches. They're tucked in to their defensive positions to avoid any of these shots, and Illa now under fire.
Oh yeah, I'm coming.
Box Toys almost takes a couple pieces of lead himself on his rotation, but he's able to dodge those.
I'll keep putting back. We got 2 minutes.
If they wanted to, they can afford to send someone out on a flank to finish this. Although this is that one OBJ that gets teams running out of time.
Yeah, no, we've seen a lot of people kind of run the clock on this objective in previous matches past. So
We got a man.
this could very well be a factor that the clock could be Water's 6th member per se in bringing down the Horsemen and getting themselves map 1. But the Horsemen have got to make a move here really soon if they want to be able to get themselves another point and stay in this game.
Folks coming out from box. They are going to deny vision a little bit, but not a lot. And the push is coming in. I think they are aware of the time limit. Zucchini catching out Box Toys in the open. It does pause the Enigma and Steve push, but it can't pause it for that long. They have to move. Smokes are out aplenty. There's 3 here from the team. There's finally a kill.
Find Zucchini Zang, but he's going to get refragged by Kija. Another push begins from the Fire Horsemen.
Got him.
He's able to find Steve, and Water will take the first round. It's a very dominating factor as well. Very dominating fashion, I want to say. That's what I want to say. But, man, Water's communications really have carried them through here. And the 5 Horsemen just didn't know what to do on map 1.
Yeah, and the kill spread on Water here was Zucchini taking 8, and I think it was it? I don't know if it was Zucchini. They were talking about technical difficulties and not wanting to jinx it, but if it was Zucchini, good job on that. 8 with 6 with Kija over there. So good spread. Everyone, putting in the work, and if you heard them, they were all giving call outs down there. So so that was good talking on their part.
Yeah, the more you talk in this game, I think it's much more of a factor than skill. Being able to kind of vibe with your teammates and be able to share information pretty freely and in a very effective manner is just such a huge factor in this game.
Map number 2 is going to be Subway, a pick that I guess plays into the mentality of close quarters combat. I mean, absolutely plays in the mentality of close quarters combat for this water team. And honestly, this is a pretty nice choice. I feel like some teams have really slacked on practicing Subway and becoming efficient at it, while other teams honestly have been putting in some work, and I've seen some new interesting pushes and new interesting defensive strats come in from a lot of these squads. So this should be, I want to say, a pretty dominant water map, but we'll see if Five Horsemen can bounce back.
I mean, both teams have definitely practiced this map a lot here, and I think the very obvious, the elephant in the room per se that we need to address here is that this is a very shield-friendly map. It is nighttime, it is very lanular, and it allows for good rotations on the shield, so I think we're going to be seeing some of Kija's best out here.
I'd also argue,
and maybe some good stuff from Steve.
I'd also argue that the C4 placements can get a lot more lucrative, and it is something that you got to be pretty wary of when you are a shield user.
Yeah, as a shield player, the C4 is probably my personal biggest enemy on Subway, and I always try to look around in really weird places to see if I can see people are trying to get ahead of me.
Oh yeah, well, like I said earlier in the season, like that's the new thing to look out for. Like, where did they place the C4? Oh, what a great C4 placement. So that's what excites me, especially if they can get the shield down. Looking at the stats, Subway, the Five Horsemen have not seen any wins on Subway this season. So I can see them definitely water picking this map on them.
Water is 4-4, 100% win rate so far this season on this map too. So let's look at what's the downfall for 100%. They've been winning, you know. This water team doesn't lose a lot of maps.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to decipher like what's the map ban that we should play in order to best suit our the theoretical opponent team here, I'm gonna say, and be able to effectively use that map ban to honor. They don't lose that much.
Yeah, that's another thing. On the voting side, we do have 34 favoring water. So even though they are the newer team with some veteran players, people have been paying attention. I mean, they jumped to diamond. They beat out Danglers, and that made them a diamond team. I think it was Zucchini who in the Discord said, "Today I learned you can skip gold." Well said, Zucchini.
That is some serious talk coming out of water there. And the question is for the entire game, can they hold on to that, or will Five Horsemen be able to break the streak here? But only time will tell in the end of that. We have all 5 members in and ready to go in lobby. No message from any of the team captains say timeout or anything. Our round should be starting very soon.
Yeah, I was looking if there's any subs. It does look like both rosters still same setup from last map. And yeah, I mean, Water has. I'm looking at their games played. They've certainly gone up against some talented teams. SEAL Team Bravo did beat them, and they're one of the better teams I think that they've faced. They did beat Animal House, which is certainly an impressive feat. Animal House has been playing pretty well over the last few seasons, and I want to see how they square off against a top 5, right? Against an SMC, against a Globochem or a G-Man or a Beginners, and see what they're really made of, because I don't think they certainly have been tested, and they are deserving of where they are in that ranking. But I think the next few matches they're going to have are going to really be what push them, and we'll see if Water's a team that's going to be at the top potentially this season. Wouldn't that be a story?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, now I'm not exactly sure, but I think Kija for a brief moment was on SMC,
Okay.
and they did scrim each other, and I think they put SMC through a ringer. So yeah, I'm excited to see that too.
Well, Kija's origins actually came in the amazing miracle story of what is it? Dead Logic, the original Dead Logic, and back in the times when they were the brand new team to beat, and Kija was definitely a huge factor in that. But sadly, Dead Logic kind of fell apart. There is a newer Dead Logic, but it really doesn't have many of the old school players that they had back in the past. So that is kind of Kija's origin stories. We're jumping into round 1 here on Subway. Water will be on the offense. We'll see 2 people go up into the catwalk up here. And a bit more of a spread offense coming out of Water here as 2 will hang back and 1 will go south stairs. And Kija will be bringing that shield. He's going to try to go in through the middle platform, or at least watch for the flank on the middle platform. Actually, his positioning is a little bit more indicative of that, as he is watching those south stairs. Gonna float on over to the 5 Horsemen defense. As of right now, we got Enigma is watching a very nice corner. The nice thing about this corner is that it's really hard to see people go around it right as I mentioned that he moves on. So obviously nothing that we say as casters can hold through, but Kija and Enigma are about to square off here. Kija hears him. The battle goes on, and Kija will emerge victorious.
I killed him, but there's a C4 active, and I had to jump off of that.
That was a rad play. And we've seen it more and more out of shield players. They're not afraid to get right up next to the enemy because they do this thing where they rotate shield up over their head and go crouched or prone. Kija dove to the floor and put his shield over his head. So essentially he had the shield covering a good portion of his body as he took the shots around it. I mean, just very high tier shield play there. And Zucchini with a quick peek snags himself a kill.
Yeah, being able to get those quick kills is what Water needs in order to be able to attack this objective. 5 Horsemen spread out a little too far, and it's just not exactly working out for them.
Trying to go for those aggressive defensive angles, and just doesn't pay off. And Boxtoys now squaring off. Boxtoys tries to challenge Kiza. Kiza drops the nade right at his feet, and that actually downs himself. What a chaotic moment there.
The res will come out, and Kija will live to fight another day. But now there are only 2 of the 5 Horsemen remaining, and 5 of Water, and they are surrounding this objective right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but they were clearing all of the areas, working together. So they really did their homework on the positioning of the 5 Horsemen.
1 round for Water down. Water able to clear out the 5 Horsemen. Not able to get the cap, but that they don't seem to really care about that much. Water are just an unstoppable tide of flow going right now.
It's great. It's really, really great to see. And the thing is that the 5 Horsemen, they're a great team. They really are. So they've been playing together for a long time. So to watch this together, watch this happen here, it's quite impressive.
Really, I mean, certainly focused on it a good bit, but, and you highlighted it in the pre-show, Vivian. I mean, this shield play from Kija is just super impressive. He is diving, going prone, tucking in, finding kills with the pistol, dodging all sorts of explosives in C4. I mean, that round, certainly he was the MVP when they made their entry from the underground.
Yeah, being able to effectively, being able to combat well in the shield is just as good. But I think Keej's best move is that he's able to communicate very effectively.
That shield as a analysis tool, as something that you can, as a recon, as a scouting unit, has certainly been working super well for the water team. I expect to see it a lot more often throughout the rest of the season with other squads as well. This isn't going to be something that stays confined to this water team. And, you know, like I said, we've seen it with Globo, G-Men, and a couple of those other top 5 squads. So if anything, maybe they are picking it up from there, or those teams have picked it up from water. I don't know, the chicken and the egg conundrum as we dive into round 2.
Yeah. Well, we are dropping into round 2 now. We're going to have Saints on the objective because it is round 2. Looks like 5 Horsemen are going to go all north side right now. We will see the shield play coming out of Steve this time. He's going to go catwalk along with Box Toys, but kind of following along with the north side as of right now.
Yeah, it looks like Enigma here is going to be holding down the basement, watching for any flanks while everyone opts for upstairs. Or, no, north approach.
Well, there's a pretty spread out defense coming on from water as of right now. We do have Zucchini, who's going to be way off of objective guarding those middle stairs, making sure that no one's going to try to come up from the basement area, but there doesn't seem to be that much velocity coming through those basements as of right now.
It's still great positioning because he can, if Enigma doesn't go that way, he can quickly pivot, catch anybody else once he hears any movement from the 5 Horsemen here on the platform.
Yeah, the 5 Horsemen, speaking of them, are beginning to make their approach out of the north side now with Trayden and Dr. Sean. Water's not really in a place to capitalize on the north side, entryway right now, but it could work out just as well for them. But meanwhile, on the south side, Steve and Box Toys, they're way ahead of the north.
Yeah.
And they've got to sync up with the north side here if they want to be more effective, but I don't even know what's going to happen here.
Peeking already with the shield.
Zucchini's able to find Enigma in that spot that we were talking about earlier on those middle platform tracks. Box Toys is going to try to look for this refrag. Zucchini's going to try to duck right back in there. He's able to avoid Box Toys' vision. Now the peek's happening. Box Toys sees him and he's able to get that. A very good pick for the 5 Horsemen, bringing down to a 4v4. But now the action shifts back down to the basement as only 2 members of the 5 Horsemen are able to really move their way in.
Yeah, I'm surprised Steve is peeking already. I'm not sure that the other guys are in position just yet.
Yeah, and Add-on Assassin is currently the defender member for this. Keija and Wilsum IP are perfectly placed behind these 2 right now. And I think Keija has an idea what's going on. He's rotating right now. He's able to find one with the C4. That's going to be Steve. No more shield play, but Boxer's going to look for this refrag, but that's not... Keija's able to find that.
I'm going to grab his shit, okay?
Oh, don't let him pick it up, and he picks it up.
Oh, that's a horrible mistake. You do not want to let
You're in
Keija
trouble
with that shield.
That
is a no-go. And now the issue is, I think, with the Horsemen right now is that they have not been able to sync up their attacks. Trayden and Dr. Sean have been occupied elsewhere while the rest of their team has been getting killed, and they were not able to support that at all.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I heard any call-outs there. I wasn't sure what their approach was, but they definitely could have been syncing up on the entrances here.
Well, the only thing they're going to have to sync up here now is that Water has 4 members up, and the 5 Horsemen have 2. Each one of them are going to have to get doubles here if they want to scrape a round out of this.
Certainly doable.
Certainly doable indeed, but will it happen here? And can the execution be perfect? We're about to find here, as it is only going to be 2 minutes left in the round here. Not too much time, but everyone's on objective, so they have some time to work with, but don't think you can lollygag.
And not the best smokes going into the stairs right there. Oh, there. Trade in place is a better one. Oh, not really.
Kija is peeking with that shield. He's trying to identify where exactly these defenders are, so Lich and crew can work out how they want to set up their defense. It looks like Box Noise is going to go on a mad flank himself. Or I'm sorry, no, that's Trayden. Trayden's going to be taken down by Add-on Assassin as he went in solo on his own. And now back on the north side, Dr. Sean's going to make his own move, but Lich King's going to shut that down. Water's going to go up 2 points. Amazing.
Interesting.
Amazing defense from Water. Holding angles, recognizing opportunity is available, and being able to shut down the 5 Horsemen before they even knew it.
Yeah, they came in looking real strong that round. They had a solid defense. They didn't. When as soon as Kija got that shield, I think we all kind of assumed it was over for the 5 Horsemen. When there's 4 up alive and it's a 4v2 with Kija with a shield, it's going to be a tall order and honestly requires some really good synchronization or a nice nade, which they did try. He tried to nade him down the bottom of the stairs, but that didn't find any purchase. So, you know, the 5 Horsemen are aware of what this Water team's capable of. I don't know if the entry from both stairs is my choice. You know, that's old school, basically, right? You're resigning yourself to what is, for the long time, been considered an impossible to cap objective, because it used to be just those 2 stairs. But with the addition of the underground entry point, you open up a lot of different sort of options on how you can approach and how you can sync up with your team, and it just didn't really end up happening with the 5 Horsemen.
No, it didn't. The communication was definitely lacking. I think that was very visually apparent there. The attacks were kind of happening at 2 different times, which is not how you want to be attacking a team that is trying to hold angles like that. It's just not going to work. The math doesn't add up. Into round 3 now, as Water will be attacking the middle objective.
And an easily capable one if you don't set up your defense correctly on this one too.
Yeah, I think that's a huge point to bring up about this objective. It is very open, but with enough utility, you can sneak players onto objective and be able to punch in that code and potentially get Water a 4-0 unless 5 Horsemen can set up their defense.
Their defense is very spread out. The thing here is if you spread out too much on this objective, you can cap behind the walls here as cover. So hopefully, I mean, I'm always interested in seeing different plays. So they do have the entrances covered. I think that's what they're trying to go for here.
Yeah, being able to cover these entrances is huge, but that's kind of old school Subway we're talking about here.
Yeah.
We're just discussing that earlier, how there used to be like only entrances, but now there are 5, and so that's not really a viable option anymore.
Yeah, especially because they know that there is a strong shield player that it's going to call for some grouping. So they really should be able to stick a little bit tighter to catch each other's refrag. And as we say that.
Well, the current setup, ooh, we're going to see some Kija action as Pistol comes out. He's able to find 1, bringing the Horseman down to 4.
What a great rotation from Water. You know, taking this out and then rotating out of it when typically people would rotate, just go right in. Fast rotation on trade-in as well.
And now the rest of Water are taking their time. They're trying to make sure that no one's trying to get too flanky with them, as Traden effectively is almost on the verge of doing here. He's getting pretty close to that that center stairwell, which could be both a good and a bad way for the Horsemen to go. Good being that you can easily get behind their defenses. Bad is because Water is watching that like a hound.
Yeah, they have over here on the north, Lich King and Will here just buddying up, so they can definitely take out Steve, even if it's a trade 1-for-1. And they are being very quiet.
Yeah, being silent in game is such a huge part of this strategy that Water's bringing out here. They're bringing in the slow play, which means that they're trying to be sneaky, trying to be stealthy, and trying to be quiet. Letting Kija make all the noise is, I think, their distraction, and it works really well for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing because, they can definitely... I think that they would be afraid of Kija. So if you're using Kija as a distraction, that's great.
Zucchini's able to find another, and now the three horsemen and Water are still 5 strong. 5 horsemen have just not been able to crack this Water defense or offense.
Start doing it.
The push is happening. Steve's able to find Zucchini saying a nice pick. The first pick for the 5 horsemen on this round. Steve's able to find Will as well. Steve's hunkering in there. Will gets taken down by Steve. A very nice triple for Steve.
That was great.
It was great. Being able to time that rotation just right. And being able to just work the play, work the timing. But now Kija is on objective. He's taking down the guy on it. Dr. Sean's going to find Kija, shutting that down. But now Add-on's going to get that refrag. He is on objective. There isn't that much coverage. There is Steve, who's barely watching that. He's coming, but he's barely watching it right now. He does come closer, and Add-on's frame for getting this cap is slowly dwindling here. I think he's more focused on the kill by now. Peeking happens, and Add-on is able to find the finisher for that, and Water will go up 3-0. But was looking pretty good for the 5 horsemen.
Wow, I mean, that was a good push. Yeah, definitely from on the side of Water there.
Yeah, that was a solid start to the defensive round for Horsemen. The triple kill on this entry point in the north certainly kicked things off good for them, but it just wasn't quite enough to pull through. Kija again with that dang shield. I mean, when he was the threat
Kija
there, he was able to deny Traden the kills. Then I don't know, that shield just draws so much attention and so much focus. It allows for so much else to go on, and good rotations overall from the 5 horsemen. They react pretty good to the situations that were unfolding in front of them. But I mean, again, to highlight Kija again, he's also kicked off that round with a nade kill.
Yeah, being able to find these little picks in just the weirdest ways is just a way to kind of demotivate the other team, or just make them lose their momentum. And it's just working really well for Water right now. They've gone up 3-0. The stats clearly show that. The question is, can the 5 horsemen rebuild themselves? It is now or never if they want any chance to win this. They have lost map 1. They are on the verge of losing map 2. They cannot lose another round.
I must say, Kija's patience on that rotation was very, very admirable. I just had to comment on it. It was very good patience.
He is very good with his rotations and, finding a pick and then moving away the shield. Because the moment that any enemy team hears that pistol go off, everyone's going to come coming for it. That shield is a token. It's a trophy. Being able to say you got a shield kill is a pretty... It's a... It's
a badge.
You could say it's a badge. Yes, exactly. It's a badge. I think it's a...
You want that in your Steam inventory.
Exactly. Shots immediately going off as Enigma's going to try to find himself one. I think it was the member trying to go downstairs on the objective stairway there. But I think that ducking will happen. It's going to be the same objective. We forgot to mention it this time. Keej is able to find Enigma though, and he's trying to make his way on.
Yeah, I was
Amazing how
actually
quickly
just
they can get down there.
about to comment that what good positioning there, sending him down. They do have some good coverage then on that OBJ.
That is a very risky maneuver to find cover right there and then, because trying to get down that stairwell, if the other team is running as fast as they can, they're going to encounter you at the same time. So it is very good calling on Water to be able to move into those positions and predict that the 5 Horsemen are going to play it a little slower.
We've got Dr. Shannon trading on a Coca-Cola hallway here. Lots of lasers. But they can see Adon. He's kind of in the open.
It's not Coca-Cola.
Fizzy
Coke.
It's just a name of the hallway.
Fizzy Coke hallway. Okay.
Well, regardless of what the name is, Zucchini Zang's able to find box toys. And now the 5 Horsemen are once again 3 horsies. Steve is still on that shield though, which is good news for them. You really don't want to lose Steve here. He's kind of the VIP on the Horsemen because he is the holder of the shield. And the last thing you want, and we've discussed this before, is Keija getting the shield. Zucchini Zang is gonna get a little peeky here on Steve. Right by another Fizzy Cola machine if we're talking about that. Steve's gonna duck back in. I think he's going to wait for Zucchini to get a little pushy here, but we've not really seen much aggression in 1v1s with Water. Overhand shield kill for Steve. That's a tactic I haven't seen in a little while. We usually shield kills on the side now, but regardless, it worked, and now the 5 Horsemen have 1 down. They have to do 5 more. Add-on is going to be that second one. Now we're back to a 3v3. Lich King is able to find Dr. Sean, and Traden will find Will Sell ID. We're into 2v2. The 5 Horsemen are now 1, as Steve is the last remaining member. Can Steve do it?
Yeah, Keeja's very aware of him. I'm not sure if he saw that he's on a shield. He must know. I think he's a shielder. He senses it.
Sometimes you just have that innate ability to sense when the shield's on, but now he knows it for sure. He just peeked it. And I'm pretty sure those nades are going to be coming out right now. Steve has to watch out for that. The flash does come out. He's just going to rotate under that. He's not going to get too aggressive with it. And Steve's in a really good spot to be able to take on any forward aggression. But Water seemed to realize that, and they're waiting for him to come to them.
Yeah, I mean, they really could bookend him, though, and
They
just
could.
finish it.
Well, the nade's getting prepped from Steve. He's going to throw that out there. Lich King's going to get... And he's... The nade will get him afterward, but that doesn't matter. Water will take map 2 very decisively, and the match. The third map will be decided for MMR, so stay tuned.
Yeah, that's Water securing that series. I mean, what's the time? You know, an hour and 20. I suppose we started 15 minutes late, so essentially an hour for 2 maps. That's pretty good time from this Water team. And again, they just come in proving that this Water squad is someone that we all need to keep our eyes on in the VRML. They're deserved of where they are in the Diamond rankings right now. And I'm so excited to see the next couple of matchups that they have on their hands.
Yeah, being able to take down a pretty veteran team like the 5 Horsemen is no easy feat. So huge props to Water for being able to very decisively, nonetheless, take down the 5 Horsemen. I don't think 5 Horsemen really got too many points on the board at all right now.
I think they had 1 on Snow Peak, and I think it was Water went unchallenged on Subway, which again isn't isn't the Five Horsemen's strongest map, but still, I mean, wow.
I think wow is a very good word to summarize this match so far. Definitely a huge showing from Water, and I think we all have to say wow inside of ourselves here, just by how decisively this has been put out for us.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I think that Five Horsemen really like Quarantine, if I recall correctly. I think when we played them, I think this is what we banned against them. That or we couldn't decide between this and Downfall, but they do like this map, so I definitely think that they have a chance here to, at the very least, take their third map choice.
And I don't think Quarantine is one of Water's strongest maps either. They've been 4-0'd on this before, so it could happen again. Maybe Five Horsemen will finally kick it into gear here and get some points on the boards for themselves.
Yes, Quarantine is one of their weaker maps, though it's hard to pick.
Yeah, there's not too much of a selection there, is there?
I don't think we're.
Well, regardless of how strong they are, our first objective is going to be the burning one. And that's a very interesting objective to defend.
Yeah, I was just seeing if we were gonna see any roster swaps from either one of these teams, because to be honest, when it comes down to this third map and you've already had the series decided, it's one of the best times to work in your subs, to get them involved, and have them experience a league match. It's important because some teams, those subs are really just subs. They have an active roster that they use for the majority of their rounds, and then when it comes time for them to need a sub, those guys aren't really trained with the team. It's a good time to do it and to practice when you have a series secured or decided for you. We don't see that here as we hop into round one.
Yeah, we're going to have a crater spawn with the Five Horsemen. They're the first ones to attack this objective here.
And not a really great spawn, in my opinion, for this one.
Opinions can differ.
Maybe.
There's some things you can work with this objective, especially if you have more long-range biased players. Which
That's
they do
true.
have. Steve, he is taking a 249 this time still, but he has been a ranged player for them in the past, and it's worked very well for the Horsemen.
Are you sure it's the Steve? There are several Steves.
I'm pretty sure he has a number by it, and I remember that number as well. We're going to see a bit of a pause in play from the Horsemen here as they kind of trying to make sure that they could secure the north courtyard. Being able to get across this north courtyard safely is the first step to taking on this objective on the route that they are taking, because the enemy team can get up to that hilltop, maybe even rooftop if they're quick enough.
Yeah, I mean that would be huge for them. I mean, they're going unchallenged in the north here, so if they could just take the roof, maybe lay down some smokes and fire, and just get those fast fingers going, Enigma or Dr. Sean. I don't think trading caps. And to comment on the roster change, for Water, they have Engage, and Engage is a good player. I think I'm not sure if he's ever played in the league, but he's definitely plays in comps. People know him. He's a good player. But it would have been great to see him in. Yeah, I don't think I've seen him yet in the match.
Yeah, I think he's definitely cycled in here because Water have already taken the game here, and being able to kind of get your newer players adjusted to higher levels of play, because being in a league game is completely different than playing in comps. There's a whole different attitude and a whole different vibe to it that you have to get newer players adjusted to. And if you're just going to throw them in there into a major league game before they had this experience, that's not going to work. Dr. Sean's able to find Zucchini Zang in a very nice far out push. I believe Zucchini was on objective there, so that's a huge pick for the 5 Horsemen as they mount their attack.
Yeah, I mean their defense is pretty good. Oh, and as I say that, Will picks up Dr. Sean.
The defense is pretty good on water, and they do find one member on the rooftop, which brings it back down to a 4v4. More shots will come out. Kija's going to find Enigma after popping out behind that turbine. Now the rooftop is completely out and open for anyone who wants to take it. Trayden is thinking about going up there and taking it himself, but I think he's going to hesitate and realize that it's not as great as he thinks it is.
Yeah, if they're hearing it, they've heard the shots come from everywhere, so they should know that they're kind of pinched right here. They're gonna need to make a decision on where to go and take out that one player, move in.
Yeah, Will Sell My P's gonna find box toys by the West Plane wing. No confirm yet, so box toys will be able to get those callouts out and be able to identify exactly where Will is.
Yes, and she can get picked up right now from Steve if she isn't. She's looking back and forth, and she's back to it. So she might be hearing box.
Yeah, I think she's hearing box. She's not really aware that she can take down, or she just can't see it. That could also be a factor here. Or the third factor, as it just comes to my mind, is that she's waiting for both Box Toys and Steve to make their rotation, and it seems to be that was the case. She tried to ambush them, but Box Toys and Steve were just too quick for that, and now they're going to try to either rotate away or launch the attack.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. It looked like she was struggling.
Oh, the flank from Kija is able to find Steve. Wow. I even got behind us, but now Trayden is looking at it, but Trayden's rotated away. Oh, Kija's able to find another one, and now only one horse remains. That will be Box Toys as he tries to mount an attack. Kija is now on the move. This completely shifts the gameplay up. An amazing nade is coming out. It actually lands on top of the building.
Looks like Box is prepared, waiting.
Kija peeks. He tosses a C4, doesn't find it. And now he's just peeking again. He's waiting for the right moment. Box Toy pounding on that corner. He just refires and he won't find that.
What an awesome round from Water as they go up 1-0. A nice round for them on offense. Kija was looking to be a serious threat, and sorry, that was defense. Kija with those rotations were so clutch for him to be able to get up on the roof, find the backside of Trayden, and then keep that rotation going and find that final kill. Just a bit of a wild round for Kija. Again, I mean, maybe we should just follow him on the cam for the whole round, because I mean he got 4 kills. He almost picked up the full squad wipe.
Yeah, he does get 4 kills. I'm almost worried that we're gonna get knocked away. He back and forth, and then he gets. The way he peeks is just fast.
Well, that was really good, but he laid down low for that peak. Catching Box Toys, which is no easy feat. Box Toys is a veteran coming from Animal House.
Yeah, they beat Animal House too.
Right. So. Well, Animal Squad,
Animal Squad.
Mob
there
House.
You go. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That merger has definitely been another highlight of the season. The Mob Squad Animal House merger is definitely the merger of the year. We're not including any Marvel movies, but we're gonna hop into round 2 now. Enough talk about miscellaneous things. As we see Water maybe take another round, or maybe the 5 Horsemen get their groove on and be able to take it to Water.
When did the 5 Horsemen score their point?
In Snow Peak?
Was it early? It was 3-1,
No.
right? Okay, so it's been 6 unanswered points now for the 5 Horsemen.
Yeah, we've had some very close rounds, so credit to the Horsemen for putting up a remarkable fight. Scores don't really show it that well, but they have been fighting here. They have been showing up. But
Yeah.
Water's been really good on that end game and being able to secure it immediately. There's some action with Enigma and Kija. I think we're going to emerge victorious out of that. Will Sell My P is going to get that refrag, and now Keeney's going to be able to find Dr. Sean. That's actually a trade. And now Water will have secured the rooftop.
And that's 2 left on the Horsemen and 1 left. That was fast.
Trayden goes down to add-on, and now in the first minute of gameplay, Box Toys once again finds himself as the last remaining member of the 5 Horsemen. He has rotated onto objective, but man, this is not looking good for him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he can catch out one before, though it's not unheard of. So
Well, deep down inside, we're rooting that he could get a 5-0 because that would make for great TV, but we're gonna have to find out here. Smokes are coming out. The push is kind of coming. It's gonna be a slow one, but that's how Water have been playing.
yeah, well, the aggression didn't pay off for the 5 Horsemen, so they know that how many they've got an accurate kill count. They can just again bookend Box Toys here and move in.
Yeah, Box Toys got to realize that he's the last one. He probably doesn't know how many he's got to work here. He's taking shots. He finds Will, but gonna go up 2 points.
Pretty strong round for Water there, but it really felt like 5 Horsemen kind of giving up a little bit on their defensive round. Those rotations were so late. Trayden trying to cross that street without any cover is certainly a pretty big dice roll. And, I mean, Water capitalized on almost every mistake that Horseman made there, which made it a super smooth round for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I think they were going.
I've been getting that feeling the entire time, though. We've seen it on Subway where their attacks and their pushes just aren't well timed together. They're not pushing in as a team. It's like one group's pushing in, and then 2 minutes later, the other group's pushing in. That's just not going to work with this Water. They communicate way too much to understand exactly what's going on the battlefield and having a very good battle map in their heads.
Wonder what the time played is of Water guys. I'm curious, and gals. I'm curious to know what their, how often they're playing. Has this Water team been practicing every day this season to get to where they are right now? Because I just can't envision how they get so synced up without playing at least a couple hours each day.
Well, they do play often in lobbies, maybe a little later.
Okay.
So we got Kija here, who again, when he played for Dead Logic, that was Dead Logic at the top of their game. I mean, It wasn't all him. They had Neox, who's on beginners now, but Kija was a good carry, being their shield player. And then we've got Lich King and Adon, who played on just briefly for bronze teams in the last season. So I would still say they're rookies. Will and Zucchini being more rookie, but they do get in those hours and they do get in those seasons.
It seems like, and this is something I've talked about before, but the Water team has embraced a let's support our main man sort of mentality. And, they support that shield so well, and I'm of the mind that there's certainly a possibility for you to use one player as Zucchini picks up Enigma there. There's certainly a possibility to use one player as sort of your linchpin to a team.
Dr. Sean's able to find Will Sell My P, jumping back into the action. And now we're back. We got a 4v3.5 with 5 Horsemen being kind of on the receiving end of that. But the revive will come out, bring it up to a 4.
One down, green car.
See, they're all doing call outs though. They're all putting their voices in on side of Water.
Yeah, Water's really good about being very vocal about where team or enemy team locations are and being able to flanks happening and being able to rotate in lieu of that. And Zucchini's able to find Dr. Sean, as we were mentioning that. There's a little bit of admiration coming from Trayden towards Zucchini as Trayden watched his own teammate die, but I have a feeling that was kind of the feeling of this map is admiration.
I think Trayden was saying that his shot would have been amazing. So as much as
Well, it's hard to tell under smoke.
I think he's
gonna
complimenting
correct me
himself.
later. I know it. He's me and Trade talk a lot. He's probably gonna correct me on that at some point. But regardless, Steve's gonna make his rotation now. He's gonna be able to hide behind that car, giving him just enough cover to get himself a little bit closer to the objective. He's more focused on the rooftop, and
Yeah, I was gonna
rightfully
say.
so. Add-on's gonna be able to find him.
He's down. He's down on smoke.
As that rotation from Kija also would have been deadly just as well. And speaking of rotations from Kija, he's able to find box toys, and this has just been what it's been. You're allowing Kija to get room, and that's what's been killing the Horsemen. Down to the final member here, we have Traden versus Kija. Kija calls it out, and Lich King's able to finish it off, getting Water a 3-0 right now.
And you know, I retract what I said about this Horseman squad. They're playing it focused. You know, that round we were on board trading for a little while, and their comms are on point, just as you know, maybe not at the level or as much as Water right now, but they're still certainly focused on trying to get these rounds. Nobody likes losing in Onward, you know, and it's, if anything, it's a testament to how good Water's playing right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again, the Five Horsemen, they're a good team, and you can see it in chat. They're saying that does not reflect how good of a game that they're enjoying here. So, I mean, Traden, again, he started the rookie boot camp, so I think, or one of the founding guys,
Yeah, he
and he teaches, you know, comms all the time, all kinds of things, like getting the refrag of your teammate, how to lead. So you definitely have a strong captain in Traden there.
Are you saying that Traden has created his own demise?
Well, actually, I was going to say that the Five Horsemen, once in a while, what they'll do is they'll play an aggressive push, right?
Right.
And that aggressive push on Volk did not work out for them. However, Water did an aggressive push and it worked out for them, and so that got me thinking that I think that when Water beats a team, they take on their superpower. So they just beat Danglers and just did really good with them.
Now, is that a villain trait or is that a hero trait? Because it's a villain trait in some shows, so maybe they're the villains of the league.
No, I just think it's funny because when I saw that, I was like, Danglers. But then I was like, they just played Danglers, so I don't know what superpower they're going to be taking from the Five Horsemen here, but
Maybe some
I'm telling
horsepower.
you.
They're going to take horsepower.
Maybe they took that trait from the Danglers after they beat them. Something to think about. Well, whatever their modifier is for post-round whatever game talk it is, Kija and crew will have craters now as the very far one, and Enigma is going to be able to find Zucchini Zang. The res can come out here, but it's very risky.
Get the roof, get the roof. I'm going to the roof corner.
So they're going to try to set up for that res. We're going to move a little bit further up here and try to keep up with the action.
I threw a distraction smoke out.
Yeah, they definitely gave away their position in not a good way here. Five Horsemen are very aware.
Lich King is going to be able to get that revive on Keeney in the background.
Keeney, nice.
Oh, and I want to point out, Kija has changed his name from Karma back to his old school one. I just didn't realize that until now. Dr. Sean's able to find Lich King and Zucchini Zang. A very nice double. I think the Horsemen are kind of getting it together now.
Yeah. Oh, and he goes for the third.
That's a confirm.
Oh, confirm. Oh.
-1.
Enigma's going to find Will, and this is extremely well for the Five Horsemen. Now Kija is on the other side of Enigma here. He's being really quiet. Add-on will find Dr. Sean. The first kill for Water on this round.
Although Enigma isn't aware of Kija's position, right?
No, he is not.
Yeah.
Kija isn't really either. He throws a flash to where Enigma was. Nades are going off on roof. I think they're more anticipating someone on the roof. which is the case. Kija and Steve are going to trade. Kija's able to call out Enigma's location. The res looks like it's going to be the priority now as add-on's going to Steve. And now Enigma's going to try to bring it to water on the rooftop, but he's going to rotate away now. Shots coming on from objective as one member of the Horsemen try to pressure two remaining water that are on the rooftop.
It looks like it. Enigma. I thought he was going for that.
Add-ons going around. A smoke will come out. That won't do anything, but at least cover Enigma's rotation here. But Kija is watching that side as well. In a way, it's almost as if water is defending the rooftop right now because it's the only piece of land that they've got. Enigma's able to find add-on through the smoke. And now it is only Kija left. Enigma versus Kija. Two players that have playing extremely well for both of their respective teams. Now we'll square up on the roof. Will 5 Horsemen be able to last? Not on the rooftop. Kija's able to find Enigma. And now he has rain onto the objective if he so chooses to. But it is a 2v1.
Is it?
And that is not... It is currently a 2v1.
I know,
yeah.
but do you consider Kija just one person?
Well, I'm going by the math right now. And from what I counted on my fingers, Kija is one by...
The abacus? You had to bring
The
that.
abacus, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say that they do have a good spread across with kills. I think what it is with Kija is that he's a good leader. You know, and they're really good at following what he says and their patience. So while I wouldn't say he's the ultimate killer, he is leading in points right now, but it's definitely spread out with the talent. But I think it's his call out style.
Yeah, the over communication on Kija's part has definitely carried water to this point here. Kija, you know, playing with him in lobbies, he's a very skilled player, but he's not immortal. Yet.
Well, is there a team called Immortal? He has to play that team.
Globocam or beginners.
Wow.
He's gonna find Box from across the map, but Traiden's gonna get the final say in this, and 5 Horsemen will get a point on the board for themselves.
If Kija hadn't fumbled his rifle there, that could have been a crazy double. He knew right as soon as those shots started to ring out, he snapped towards Traden. He had an idea of where he was. And, I mean, 8-2 now on the feed. But you're right, Viv. Look at the KD right now. 5 for Zucchini Gang, 3 for Aiden. It's spread amongst that squad. It's just their point man seems to be finding the kills and being the last one alive. Now they go up 3-1 at least, and Horsemen are on the board again, which is nice to see. But I anticipate this probably being the last round. I'd be surprised if, unless maybe Water try something new this round. You know, try something that they've been thinking about playing, or a strat that maybe they haven't practiced as much. It's really Water's game to lose.
Yeah, they've already won the game.
Sure, the map. Water's map to lose.
Yeah, Water's map to lose. Yeah, we're gonna be politically correct here. Yeah, the Water kind of got a little held up there on that rooftop. I think that definitely killed their momentum that they had built up beforehand. That worked really well for the Horsemen.
Well, yeah, don't forget Dr. Sean picking up the kills right there in the beginning really helped eliminate that push in the back.
Yeah, and it also probably helped identify where the push. We've seen Water a little bit more spread out, but not so much on this map. They've been kind of rolling more as a squad. And being able to identify those spawns against a team that rolls as a squad is huge because you know exactly where they're going to come from.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to be one to try new things because after these round wins, sometimes when you hear them saying, "Oh, that was perfect, that was clean," that was, they're very they're keeping with the method. If they do something fun, though, that would be fun. It's Friday night.
It is Friday night.
So thanks for joining us, everyone.
It's Friday night. The government's telling me I can't go out, and so I'm doing this instead. Enigma is able to find Zucchini, but Add-on is going to find that refrag. Steve's going to get that refrag onto Add-on, and the revive will come out on Enigma, bringing Horsemen back up to 5 members when Water have already lost 2. That aggression's just not working out for them.
Not this time. Not this time, Water.
You're so quick.
No, I think 5 Horsemen have kind
How
of
old are
locked
they?
onto the Water play style.
He's at the
Water
rock. I
are
missed
changing
him
it up and just
again.
getting experimental regardless. 5 Horsemen are really appreciating it either way.
Keeja in such a good spot here.
Yeah, he's able to find Dr. Sean. He waited on that shot till he was in just the right spot. He knew Sean was going to try to force that pick to happen, and so he just waited for Sean to rotate out to the open door to favor his shot. And it worked really well, and he's able to find Drayden as well.
You're dead.
You know what? You know what I haven't seen is knowing that they're down, because there's been so many just downs this season that being able to for him to call this conference is great.
And a firing squad got lined up onto Will's side B. But at the price, wow, of Steve, who was just trying to get his confirm out, but got to be aware of those skeleton buildings there, bud.
Keeja is in a good position to give call outs right now. I don't know if he sees.
Thanks, Chief.
That revive will come out. And now we are into a 1v2. Water have turned it around back into favor. Keeja is back out, so by NightFiree math, it's going to be a 3v1.
Shit. He's there. He's there on those.
And
Yeah,
Box
Box-
Toys again.
Yeah, it's going to be Box Toys. He's the designated last man standing. Probably the least aggressive, but that could work because that kind of gives the 5 Horsemen some insurance of not losing the round within the first minute.
You haven't had a single round come down to like below a minute yet, have we?
We have. I do believe we have at one point. I think it was on a subway, yes.
One
But
round.
it's
One
still a
round.
fast game.
One round, yeah. Ignore my figure of speeches, you politically correct.
Well, on Snow Peak they did have the
That's true.
smaller objectives, or tighter quartered ones.
Yeah, and we've seen some very early picks happen regardless of map type. But I will attest that I think we have seen a minute round.
I think
in
we
this
have to.
game.
You're right.
I wonder if
No.
the Lich King is watching for Box Toys at this angle, or maybe he's just looking, because I thought for a minute there he was just trained on it. I was like, can he hear? The audio cues sometimes really mess you up.
Yeah, the distance
Oh,
is there.
and there we
He's
go.
able to see Box Toys because his feet will appear before his head does because of the shape of circles. Water will take map 3 and a decisive 3-0 victory, 4-1.
Yeah.
And yeah, the rest is history.
You know what they say, you can lure a horse to water.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Can we just call Cass now?
I will. Go ahead, Viv.
No, I was gonna say I've been keeping up with my horse puns, so.
Good. It's important stuff to have in the back pocket. But yeah, I mean, what a great series to drop into Friday night. Water performing as expected. The community votes were definitely in Water's favor. Look at the ranks. It was Water's game. It was Water's series to lose. 7-19. You know, the Horsemen certainly getting dealt a tough hand here this week, because this Water team has just stormed up the ranks, and I think that because how rapidly they've progressed, it's thrown off the league. You know, and either way, I'm telling you, this is the squad that we're going to have to keep an eye on, because the next few weeks, the matches that they're going to have on their hands are going to be some tough challenges, and I'm really curious to see how they're going to do against a team like Globo or G-Men or Beginners.
Oh yeah, and especially with G-Man, shield
Yeah.
on shield. Let's see how they make out.
I know.
A lot more teams have been practicing the shield work now in this season more so than the last, so it's been very interesting to see. As a shield guy, to kind of see in the world of shielding, so definitely something to look out for later on.
But I think that's probably going to be it for us here on the casting desk. A fantastic Friday night fight. We're appreciative of everybody that stopped by. Please hit that follow button if you are new here. We do these casts all the time. We have all sorts of matches brought to you by a variety of hosts and casters. A shout out to Todd and Control Flirt Delete for joining me tonight. Any final thoughts on the series?
That was fantastic. I'm glad I jumped in. I actually was really excited when I saw it was finally picked up. So I'm glad I jumped in with you guys. It was a lot of fun following them, and that was a sight to behold. Again, 5 Horsemen, they are a great team.
Yeah.
They had some good plays out there. So watching this isn't I wouldn't even say like it's a role. It was a very interesting beauty, I guess, coming out of Team Water. So good on them, and congrats to them on that win.
Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing what we kind of back. Keija definitely leading the team there, if not carrying, but the shield work was definitely on point as we would have expected. And the 5 Horsemen were kind of caught a little off guard there, so it kind of sucks to watch on their end, but definitely an amazing spectacle nonetheless. I think the game was a lot closer than the scores will ever tell the tale of, so definitely a great watch from my end.
I think that's the trend with Onward. And that'll be it for us. Thank you for joining us here at the desk. My name's NightFiree with 2 E's. My co-casters, Control Flirt Delete and TFH with a swear word. We will see you all tomorrow for more Onward action. Tune in then.